Union Budget 2025 concluded just a little while back, where Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman ensured that all of the budget details were given out. Let's give you a comprehensive analysis of the Union Budget of 2025 in our live coverage here at AIM Media House. A revamped income tax structure to empower taxpayers. In a significant move aimed at enhancing the disposable income of citizens and stimulating economic activity, the government has overhauled the personal income tax slabs. As it was predicted by AIM Media House in the morning itself, the revised structure is as follows. Income of up to 0 to 4 lakh per annum will have a zero tax liability, providing relief to low-income groups. Income from 4 lakh to 8 lakh per annum will be axed at 5%, ensuring minimal impact on the lower middle-income bracket. Income from 8 lakh to 12 lakh will be subjected to 10% of taxation rate, balancing the tax burden on the middle class. Income from 12 lakh percent to 16 lakh percent. Remind you, the previous slab was the highest kept at 15 lakh, where anything above 15 lakh per annum was taxed at 30%. But now it will be taxed at 15%. You heard that right. Income from 12 lakh to 16 lakh per annum will be axed at 15%. This reflects a moderate increase for higher earners, but still a much reduced slab from the previous one. Income from 16 lakh to 20 lakh per annum will be taxed at 20%, aligning with the progressive tax system. And now let's talk about the higher earners in the country. Income from 20 lakh to 24 lakh per annum will be axed at 25%, targeting the higher income groups. Let us once again remind you that in the previous slab, any income of above 15 lakh was taxed at 30%. But now even an income of 20 to 24 lakh is being taxed at 25%. This is gonna be very beneficial for not just the earning, but the ability to spend as well. Income above 24 lakh to 30 lakh will be taxed at 30%. Let us tell you once again, income of anything above 24 lakh per annum will be taxed at 30% tax rate, which will be imposed on the highest earners in the country. Additionally, under the new tax regime, the income tax exemption limit has been elevated to 12 lakh per annum. This is done to simplify the tax system and encourage higher compliance. Now let's talk about the strategic reforms across 6 critical sectors as mentioned by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. Finance Minister Sitharaman outlined a comprehensive reform agenda targeting 6 pivotal sectors to drive holistic development in the country. Number 1, taxation. Implementing transformative reforms to simplify tax laws, broaden the tax base, and enhance compliance, thereby increasing revenue without overburdening taxpayers. Urban development, which is something that this current government has had a key role to play in the last 10 years, and it has been one of their major agendas. Urban development, focusing on sustainable urbanization through smart city initiatives, affordable housing projects, and improved urban infrastructure to accommodate the growing urban population. Mining, introducing policies to attract private investment, ensuring sustainable mining practices, and enhancing the sector's contribution to GDP. Up next is the financial sector, strengthening financial institutions, promoting financial inclusion, and enhancing regulatory frameworks to ensure stability and resilience. Up next, Finance Minister spoke about power, investing in renewable energy projects, modernizing the power grid, and ensuring universal access to electricity, aligning with environmental commitments. Regulatory reforms, streamlining regulations to reduce compliance burdens, promoting ease of doing business, and attracting both domestic and foreign investments. These reforms are designed to create conducive environment for sustainable economic growth and social development as well. Let's talk about India's robust economic growth trajectory as mentioned by Finance Minister. Highlighting the nation's economic resilience, Finance Minister Sitharaman emphasized that India continues to be the fastest growing major economy globally. It is at number 5 position now. This robust growth is attributed to sound macroeconomics policies, structural reforms, and a focus on key sectors such as manufacturing, services, and technology. The government's commitment to fiscal prudence, coupled with initiatives to boost consumption and investment, has reinforced India's position as a global economic powerhouse. Then, the Finance Minister spoke about the vision that the government has for a developed India for Viksit Bharat. The government's vision for Viksit Bharat encompasses several key objectives as mentioned by the Finance Minister. One of the most important ones that she spoke about was the eradication of poverty. They plan to implement targeted schemes to uplift the marginalized communities, enhance livelihood opportunities, and ensure equitable distribution of resources. Universal access to quality education. Investing in educational infrastructure, teacher training, and digital learning tools to provide inclusive and quality education for all is also something that the government is aiming to do with this budget. High quality healthcare for all. Expanding healthcare facilities, ensuring affordable medical services, and promoting preventive healthcare measures to improve overall health outcomes. This vision aims to transform India into a developed nation with a high standard of living for all citizens. Let's hope that now the state of government hospitals will be a little better, especially for the taxpayers. As we have shown you here at A Media House itself, the citizens of the country have had just one problem with the taxation. With the amount of tax that we have been paying, are the facilities and the amenities that we have been getting up until now on par with that? And the two answers that we got in common were that most of us do not visit government hospitals and most of the citizens do not send the students to government schools. Maybe, just maybe, the vision that the government now has with this budget will be able to empower and improve the conditions of government hospitals and government schools both. Let's talk about the next highlight: empowering micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs. Recognizing the very critical role of MSMEs in job creation and economic diversification, the government has introduced measures to bolster this sector. Let me tell you what are some of those. Enhanced investment limits. Investment thresholds for MSMEs have been increased by 2.5 times, enabling businesses to scale operations and adopt advanced technologies. Increased turnover limits. Turnover caps have been doubled, allowing more enterprises to benefit from MSME-specific schemes and incentives. These initiatives are expected to enhance the competitiveness of MSMEs, facilitate access to credit, and integrating them into global value chains. Up next, Nirmala Sitharaman, our Finance Minister, spoke about the agricultural advancements and farmer welfare initiatives. Let me tell you, this was something that was paid a key dividend to in this budget. To strengthen the agricultural sector and improve farmer livelihoods, the budget introduced several key programs. 5-year cotton promotion mission. It is a dedicated mission to enhance cotton productivity and quality, ensuring better returns for cotton farmers and boosting textile industry outputs. Establishment of Makhana board in Bihar. Setting up a dedicated board to promote Makhana, that is foxnut cultivation, processing and export, and benefiting farmers in Bihar and enhancing market linkages. Let me tell you, this will not just enhance the livelihood of the farmers, but of the consumers as well, because Makhana, as you all know, is a healthy snack item and is very true to the Indian culture. Up next, she spoke about the 6-year Pulses Self-Reliance Program, a comprehensive program aimed at achieving self-sufficiency in pulse production, reducing import dependence, and ensuring nutritional security. Up next, the Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana expansion. Extending this scheme to cover 100 districts, it has been aimed to benefit 1.7 crore farmers in the country through improved agricultural practices, input support, and market access. Up next, our Finance Minister spoke about the Kisan Credit Card KCC enhancements. Let's tell you about the Kisan Credit Card enhancements. The government has introduced a significant enhancement to the KCC scheme, which aims to provide financial support to farmers and fishermen. Increased loan limits to farmers. The loan limit for KCC holders has been raised from 3 lakh to 5 lakh rupees now through this budget. This allows farmers to access larger amounts of credits at favorable terms. This increase will provide better financial liquidity, enabling farmers to meet their operational costs more effectively. A wider reach. The KCC scheme covers approximately 7.7 crore farmers and fishermen, providing them with the necessary financial assistance to ensure smooth agricultural operations and reduce dependence on informal lenders. These improvements are expected to alleviate financial stress for farmers that will encourage productivity enhancements and promote sustainable farming practices by providing easy access to credit. Now let's talk about the next key highlights from the budget. Fostering innovation and skill development as mentioned by the Finance Minister. The government has taken bold steps to foster innovation and skill development through the establishment of centers and programs aimed at building the workforce of the future, the youth. National Centers of Excellence, COE. 5 National Centers of Excellence for Skilling will be established, providing state-of-the-art to equip youth with high-demand skills across sectors. These centers will focus on specific industries to ensure that the workforce is future-ready. And now, something that we had been waiting to hear, AI Center of Excellence. A dedicated 500 crore INR budget has been allocated for an AI Center of Excellence, which will be established to integrate artificial intelligence into the education sector, improving teaching methodologies, facilitating digital learning, and upskilling students for the tech-driven economy, which is not a thing of the future anymore. It is very much a thing of the present. Expansion in IITs. India's premier engineering institutions, IITs, have witnessed a 100% increase in student enrollment over the last decade. This was told by our Finance Minister, Nirmala Sitharaman. The total number of students growing in these institutions from 65,000 to now at 1.35 lakh. And hence the expansion and infrastructure of IITs, including the addition of 6,500 new seats in the past decade, is an effort to accommodate this growing demand. She mentioned that in the next 5 years, 10,000 fellowships for tech research will be awarded to students at IITs and IISc. Up next, she spoke about a focus on medical education. The government has committed to add 10,000 seats in medical colleges just next year, that is 2026, with a total of 75,000 additional seats expected over the next 5 years. This initiative is critical and is designed to address the shortage of healthcare professionals and cater to the growing demand for medical services. These initiatives will significantly enhance India's competitiveness in the global market by fostering a highly skilled workforce capable of adapting to technological advancements and contributing to innovation across various sectors. Up next, she spoke about support for Indian startups and private sector partnerships, something that we were looking forward to, because India, when it comes to the startup ecosystem, is the 3rd strongest in the world, growing by the day. To encourage entrepreneurship and innovation, the government has announced several initiatives to support Indian startups and promote public-private partnerships. A startup fund of 10,000 crore, you heard that right. A startup fund of 10,000 crore has been allocated. Indian startups will receive a fresh infusion of 10,000 crore INR in funding to scale their operations, invest in R&D, and create jobs. This corpus will be very, very crucial in helping startups thrive in a competitive global market, particularly in emerging fields such as AI, biotech, and clean technology. Public-private partnerships in tourism. The government will extend its focus on tourism by collaborating with the private sector to promote medical tourism in India. Additionally, 50 tourism sites will be developed in partnership with state governments to enhance that India's attractiveness as a global tourism destination stays and grows. Let's talk about something that is truly, truly crucial in the country: support for women entrepreneurs. A special scheme will be launched to support 5 lakh women entrepreneurs, especially from SC/ST communities, by providing access to training, capital, and market linkages to help them start and scale their businesses. This initiative will empower women and enhance their partnership in the economic growth of the country. These measures will provide a significant boost to India's startup ecosystem as well. It will improve the ease of doing business and encourage innovation and entrepreneurship across diverse sectors, enhancing infrastructure and connectivity. In an effort to modernize India's infrastructure, the government today announced several large-scale initiatives to improve transportation, energy, and digital connectivity. Up next, the Urban Challenge Fund was announced. A 1 lakh crore Urban Challenge Fund will be created to finance 25% of bankable urban projects. This initiative aims to enhance the capacity of local governments to implement key urban development projects, including waste management, water supply, and smart city infrastructure. A budget of 10,000 crore has been allocated for just the first year of this fund. Asset monetization plan. To fund new infrastructure projects, the government will launch an asset monetization plan for the period of 2025 to 2030, which is expected to inject 10 lakh crore into the economy. This will be very critical in upgrading existing infrastructure while ensuring that investments are made in green and sustainable projects. Up next, our finance minister spoke about the Udan scheme and the expansions being done in that. A modified version of the Udan scheme will be launched to connect 120 extra destinations, facilitating air travel for 4 crore additional passengers over the next decade itself. This initiative is expected to drive tourism, business connectivity, and regional economic development. Post Office Logistics Network. India Post will be transformed into a large logistics network, leveraging its extensive rural post office infrastructure to improve supply chain operations across the country. The goal is to modernize logistics and enhance e-commerce services in remote and underdeserved regions. These initiatives are essential to India's long-term growth strategy, ensuring that both urban and rural areas have access to world-class infrastructure, connectivity, and services. Up next, Finance Minister spoke about the healthcare and medicine initiatives. The government has made significant provisions to improve India's healthcare system and access to medicines. Focus on life-saving drugs. This is something that the Finance Minister considerably took time to talk about. The budget proposed the addition of 36 life-saving drugs to the list of medicines that will be fully exempt from basic customs duty. This will lower the cost of essential medicines and improve access for vulnerable populations. Expansion of medical education. As part of its effort to address healthcare infrastructure gaps, the government has announced the creation of 75,000 new medical college seats over the next 5 years itself. This is expected to alleviate the shortage of doctors and healthcare professionals in the country. Gene Bank for food security. A second gene bank will be established to safeguard 10 lakh germplasms, which are plant seeds and genetic material that are essential for ensuring future food and nutritional security. This initiative is part of India's commitment to sustainable agriculture and climate-resilient food systems. These efforts will strengthen India's healthcare system, reduce the burden of disease, and make medical care more accessible and affordable for all citizens. These expanded highlights provide an in-depth view of Budget 2025. A lot of areas were covered, like tax reforms, MSME support, agriculture, innovation, education, healthcare, infrastructure, and a lot more. The Indian stock market also exhibited increased volatility during the Union Budget 2025-2026 presentation. The benchmark indices, Sensex and Nifty 50, initially opened higher, but then experienced fluctuations as investors digested the budget announcements. Another thing that happened was that fertilizers and fisheries-linked firms saw a gain following specific budget proposals. However, the overall market sentiment remained cautious, while key indices showed mixed performance. Investors closely monitored the detailed budget provisions to assess the potential impact on various sectors and the broader economy. The market's reaction underscores the importance of the budget in shaping economic expectations and investor confidence. Let me tell you one more thing that happened, which is quite the key highlight. During Finance Minister Sitharaman's presentation of the Union Budget 2025, a significant number of opposition members of parliament staged a walkout. They were protesting the government's refusal to address the recent tragic stampede that happened at the Mahakumbh in Prayagraj, which resulted in numerous fatalities and injuries. The opposition has vocally criticized the incident, attributing it to administrative mismanagement and an excessive focus on VIP movements. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi emphasized the mismanagement and administration's special focus on VIP movement instead of common devotees were responsible for the tragic incident, and hence the walkout happened. The opposition demanded to discuss the stampede during the budget session, but that was denied, leading to their collective protest and subsequent walkout. But let us tell you that even though a lot went on during the budget, a lot was being expected for the field of AI as well, to make India a global AI superpower, a frontrunner, to make India compete with the likes of US, European countries, China. But only one center was announced, nothing else for the field of AI. This, especially for the tech enthusiasts, for the artificial intelligence enthusiasts in us, is a little disappointing. Let me tell you that after a short break, our live will be continuing. To talk about India's growth quadrant, we will have Dr. G.V. Joshi, economist and former member of the Karnataka State Planning Board. He will be talking to our senior reporter, Mr. Prabhu M., and they will be discussing the key highlights of the budget. We are going to go in for a short break now, and after that, we will have Dr. G.V. Joshi and senior reporter and journalist, Mr. Prabhu.